Yeah, Shekhar.
Yeah, I can get started.
Okay. So hi everyone. Hi everyone. I'm Avnish. I'm currently doing my co-op. I'm a candidate of the master's program in Northeastern. I'm doing information assurance. My master's in information assurance. I'm done with my first year, and right now I'm on a co-op in California for this amazing company called Intuit. I'm actually there right now, so I have to be like really quiet, and I have to be like really ensure that nobody catches me doing something wrong, because I'm sitting in my office right now. We were having some little difficulties setting few things up, so just in case there are a few technical issues like lag or probably my voice is breaking up or something like that, feel free to stop me. Like I said before, this is not a lecture, this is a discussion. Everyone can get involved in it, it's completely fine. Alright, so a little bit about me. I'm a developer slash designer slash security. So even my role here is I sit and I develop code. I design sometimes when I'm feeling really creative. I sit with a paintbrush and I keep doing random stuff. I'm also in the security. I do some security projects here, which for obvious reasons I'm not going to talk about. I'm a gamer. I love gaming. I have an Alienware with a massive configuration. So I like game and I play all day. And yeah, unfortunately I'm a student. So yeah, alright. So although I had a lot of things planned out for demo, because I'm not teaching and just talking about it is not exactly my style. I really like showing demos and the practical implementation of it. So what things we had decided to show for today were not exactly panning out the way I had hoped it to be. So there were some last minute changes in today's session and the content which I will be teaching you people. So before we begin, there's a small list of to-do things. Although you all don't need to do it with me, you all can just learn right now, you all can see right now and participate. You all don't have to do it at the side, but if you all want to, I completely encourage it. Right now I want everyone to either get Kali, download Kali from the first link right there, or you all can open your Ubuntu virtual machine, which works just perfectly fine. Also, I want everyone to get LAMP. Just in case you all don't know what exactly LAMP is, it is XAMPP for Linux. Now, if you don't know what XAMPP is a hosting. It's a kind of server that sets up your Apache. It's a full stack which has got its own HTTP server, which is Apache. It's using its own database server, which is MySQL, and it has got like a few other nifty tools for things like FTP and stuff. So, how many of you all have used XAMPP before? Raise your hands. No one? No one has used XAMPP? Okay, we have one person. Alright, so if you all want to, I highly recommend that everyone do this step. Go ahead and either boot up your virtual machine, Ubuntu, or you can just download Kali. While these things are downloading, I'm going to continue with the session. So when the part for the demo actually comes up, you all can join it with me and do it with me. So while I'll be showing you all some really sweet attacks and how to defend yourself from these kind of security loopholes and vulnerabilities, you all can practice it with me. Because one of the most major things about security is to see what the vulnerabilities and loopholes are and how to get really secure, how to stay safe, and how to avoid all those things from happening. So all of the students here, are you all from IA? Raise your hands if you all are from information assurance. Okay. Alright. Okay. I think Shivani is a bit slow. I can totally say that because she's my friend, so it's completely fine. Alright, fine. You can put your hands down. It's fine. So keep your hand raised up if you all have a question, alright? So right now I wanted to go ahead to this link. If you all can't copy paste this, it's completely fine. You all can just Google it. XAMPP for Linux, and you all will get to this kind of link where you all can download the latest XAMPP. And if possible, don't do this on your Windows, do it on your Linux box. I want you all to do this on a Linux box because it takes something to actually configure it and make it run, make an active server run on your Linux box. There is a lot of Linux learning in that while you do that. So just if you want to use that, that's completely fine. If you want to use Windows also, that's completely fine. Alright, so I'm going to go on ahead. Can I go on ahead? Is that fine? You can use the chat to say yes. Perfect, perfect. Alright. So since I have no feedback from you people, like there is no video, like y'all can't broadcast video to me, y'all have to be active so that I know what is actually going on. If y'all are getting things, if y'all are stuck or anything like that, please share with me. Alright, so here we are, Kali. Kali is the evolution of a very, very, very famous operating system known as Backtrack. Backtrack was one of the most famous ethical hacking operating systems of all its times. It is a Linux-based distro. Whenever I use the word distro, a distro is nothing but a flavor of Linux. Linux is used as a base kernel for many, many operating systems. So things like Red Hat, Ubuntu, Mint, or there are tons of things that are actually based on Linux, and each one of these things is a flavor of Linux or a distro. I have my own operating system which I've written with Linux. So it is like this, it's a huge, huge world where there are tons of operating systems and all of them use their base as Linux. Basically, Backtrack was a non-installable operating system, which meant that if people wanted to use the tools that came along with Backtrack, they would have to just run it via live CD, which means they could not actually install it. So seeing how this could have been a problem where people preferred Backtrack to be an operating system which they could load without a live CD, that is when Kali came up and they said like, okay, we're not Backtrack anymore, we're Kali, and we are a whole new operating system that is based on Debian Linux. And the thing they did here is that they made Kali or / Backtrack completely installable. A very well term that goes along with Backtrack and Kali is the word pawn sauce. As quoted down there, pawn sauce is a delicious topping that lead hackers sprinkle over pawn notes. So that term came up ages back when people wanted to pawn somebody, and they always thought that, okay, how can I pawn someone? When the word pawn is used, that basically means when you want to own someone, when you want to hack someone, when you want to take down their machine, bust them up, get complete access, take over everything. So when you want to pawn moves, the best kind of topping is pawn sauce, which is nothing but Kali. So, or Backtrack in those days. So that is a word that always stuck with this operating system forever, and people always use this word pawn even for gaming. People are always like, oh, I completely pawned you and stuff. So originally this system was designed for pen testing, and penetration testing is a huge, huge, huge career opportunities for all security professionals, something each one of y'all one day is going to seriously consider getting into, since penetration testing is a kind of job where the company, any kind of organization that hires you, gives you written permission to actually attack on a particular module or the entire organization as a whole, find all the loopholes. And the importance of this entire thing is based on the fact that it's best that someone within the organization finds the loopholes rather than someone outside, because if somebody finds it outside, they're going to take some massive exploits and take some great advantage of your entire organization, steal a whole bunch of intellectual property and a lot of sensitive data as well. And if something like that happens, a company, an organization can get thoroughly sued. So that is why pen testing is a huge thing. There is a lot of career opportunities. Part of my work here is into penetration testing. It is also known as ethical hacking. So that is basically, I've quoted the word ethical hacking because all the tools that are available in security are used by the good and the bad guys. The good guys use it because they need to know about the vulnerabilities before the bad guys can. And obviously the bad guys do it because they need to find exploits and try to take advantage of any kind of system. So Kali is something like a all-in-one, where it has got every single thing, all the kind of attacks and hacks you can think about. All the best tools are put together in this one massive operating system known as Kali. There is tremendous support today. It has got a huge library of drivers and support routines. Now, I'm a major fanatic fan of Linux, all the operating systems. But something I have always found to be a problem is most Linux operating systems have a massive disadvantage when it comes to distro devices, when it comes to attaching some kind of hardware, and most of the times your graphic card won't work or your network won't come up because there is a lot of problems setting up the appropriate drivers and proprietary stuff and the open source stuff, and you spend like ages and ages. And there's a very funny comic or a saying that always goes around when it comes to installing any kind of driver, is that you have to recompile the entire kernel, the operating system, and then write a custom driver device for whatever the hardware you want to use. So that's just something that always goes. But Kali is something that's completely different. It has got almost all the drivers and supports all the hardwares, which is like a very impressive thing for Linux these days. Before I go on ahead, I'm going to share my desktop with you all. Right now, I am running this entire application, the Blackboard Collaborate application, within my Kali operating system, and that is something. I mean, I find it really impressive because there we go. Just give me 1 second. So I've got multiple computers working here. Alright, so if you can just use the scale to fit button, you can see things more appropriately. Okay, now there we go. So this is what Kali is. As you can see up there, like there is in the applications menu. Okay, can everyone see this? Just raise your hand if you can see this clearly. 1, 2. Others cannot see this. It's fuzzy. Okay, it's fuzzy. Okay, can you unclick the scale to fit button? Just unclick it. Like remove the tick from scale to fit. I think it will scale. It will. Yeah, there we go. So is this clear for everyone? Yeah, unselect scale to fit. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So this is Kali. One thing all of you all will observe if you all have ever used Linux systems before is that getting on root user is something that you require sudo privileges to. And when I say sudo, I mean as a super user. So most of the time super user is something that is blocked on all operating systems on Linux distros. And even if you're a Mac user, you will notice that in order to go into sudo mode, you need to have some passwords. And the reason Linux in general blocks sudo or root mode to be the default mode, the reason it is blocked is because the root user is a very, very, very powerful user. He has complete control over the entire system. And in case something goes wrong, the entire system or operating system can completely break if he does one wrong thing. That is why no operating system keeps root as the default user. Something that Backtrack and Kali have always done throughout time is they have kept root user as the default user. As you can see there, root will always be default. And the reason for this, they believe, is that they feel that their users, the users of their operating system, are professionals and they know how to handle their own system. So I mean, that's a big move if you ask me. If you can see on the top right in the application section, you've got a bunch of standard stuff, calculators, character maps, contacts, disk utilities, files, programs, graphic browsers, programming tools, like the regular stuff, just the regular stuff. Something which all of you all should take note of is this section here called Kali Linux. Now, like I said, Kali is like an all-in-one where all the best hacking tools of the world have been compiled and put in one location. You will see this massive categories, a variety of range of categories of the different kind of attack tools that are available, all the way from the most basic stuff as information gathering, which gets into reconnaissance, which deals with how you can get information about an organization or an individual victim before actually performing an attack, such as analysis of his DNS, or checking what kind of host this is, or checking the fingerprint of your operating system, checking the SSL encryption methods, or what kind of SSL encryption is taking place, how strong is it, analyzing the traffic, VoIP analysis, all the way to voice over IP analysis, checking the VPN of users. So you can actually see the depth and the detail of how much hacking tools, like basically what kind of tools are available. Vulnerability analysis, which basically goes into what kind of, it will, so when I say that something is poking at a black box is something which is completely unknown to you. These terms which I'm using, if they are new to you, please pay very close attention to them, because these are the terms that security professionals use as a lingo. It's not professional or official, but it is something that people talk casually about. Okay, so when you don't know about something, what kind of system is there behind this kind of hardware or behind that network perimeter, you don't know what is going on there. So that is known as a black box region. And if you want to poke at it just to know that, okay, what kind of systems are there inside this, what kind of tools are there inside this, what kind of hardware is there behind this, how many systems are there, you need to create a kind of network map, which was what Nmap actually does, which was taken in the previous sessions of ISSA. And with the help of a network map, you get a more, you get an understanding of what kind of systems are you looking at. Okay, so gathering vulnerability analysis is poking those systems individually to find out what kind of vulnerability loopholes can be found. So all the way from using Cisco tools, Cisco, if you all might know, are like these really famous companies for routers and devices, firewall devices and network devices and stuff, all the way to database assessment and like a whole bunch of different stuff. There is a special place for web applications to test their vulnerabilities. You have web vulnerability scanners, content management system identification and stuff. You have password. Okay, you are getting the idea now. You can read it. You are getting the idea. These are the kind of exploitation tools. The only tools I'm going to actually talk about are the top 10 security tools, which are the most widely used tools in the whole wide world. AirCrackNG. So like I said, I had a bunch of demos before which I wanted to show you all, but due to some technical difficulties, I could not display my virtual machine. That is the reason I have a very restricted set of demos for you all. So I'm just going to talk in brief, and I'm going to save the sweet time for the demo session later, where we all get to have a bunch of fun and bring down some systems and learn. Of course, we need to learn about the kind of security like auditing around it and how we can get away from those kind of loopholes. AirCrackNG is the world's most popular tool for cracking Wi-Fi networks, finding the kind of different dumps around it. If you ever want to crack a web enabled, so WEP is an encryption standard that revolves around Wi-Fi, and it is highly unsecure. That is the reason WPA2 came up. But AirCrackNG does some pretty neat stuff around cracking different kind of Wi-Fi networks. So I have 2-3 monitors in place right now so that I can actually see what's going on and I can get a feedback. So just pardon me if I pause for a second. Alright, there we go. Burp-Suite. This is definitely one of my favorite tools. Burp-Suite is a packet analyzer which goes extremely in depth. It is, so basically Burp-Suite revolves around the entire objective of rerouting packets from any kind of port. So suppose you're browsing, you have to change your proxy so that it will route all its packets via Burp-Suite. And Burp-Suite goes into in-depth analysis of each packet. There is a whole bunch of stuff you can do, write some custom macros that will ensure you can do some brute forcing. It can do a lot of injection points it can look at. You have like a ton of stuff like that just there. SQL map is one of the most widely known tools for SQL injection. I will be showing an SQL injection today. That's one of the good news is. I don't need a virtual machine for SQL map. So since I'm inside my organization into it right now, there is not a lot of network demos I can show because I'm connected to the corporate network, and I really don't want to be interrupted by the security professionals in the building. So I'm just going to stick to what I can do on my local host right now. Maybe when I come back next semester, I'll hold some crazy demos for you people. Another thing I'm going to talk about in some time is the Metasploit framework. Metasploit framework is one of the most widely used actual hacking systems, where if you actually see the MSF console, okay, if something goes wrong, just let me know, okay? Someone please call me because I'm getting some errors here. Okay, there we go. So MSF console is like, it's a all-in-one exploitation database. It has got all the exploits known till now. Whenever we talk about a zero-day attack, which I will get to, just give me a second. Okay, this flows. Okay, there we go. So, so that's the gist of Kali. That's the different things which are available in Kali. There is a whole bunch of exploit payloads, as they are called, which help you with a combination of different attack vectors. I will go into that detail, and I'll go in detail in a bit. Something I know that has been covered before, but is really important for what I'm going to talk about next, is Nessus. If you have not used Nessus before, it's one of the most, it's a vulnerability scanning tool that basically functions in two ways. One is it can poke outside from the black box, like I told you, without actually getting access to a local machine and checking all the vulnerabilities internally. The second way, obviously, which you might have guessed, is when it can even poke through the vulnerabilities internally from system. So if you want to do this remotely, you have to give it the credentials to the target machine. So when I'm putting in the target credentials of a Windows system which I want to scan, I'm going to put the username and password so that this application can get access there, and it can actually do a thorough scanning and checking. Nessus is most widely used everywhere. It generates some really sweet UI-based reports. It's got a whole bunch of stuff which is very important. And the reason I say that this is very important is because this is what I want you people to know. Just give me a second. So, Nessus, it checks for vulnerabilities, and there is a nice little bridge known as the Nessus bridge that goes directly into, you guessed it, Metasploit. Now, like I said, Metasploit is a framework with all the kind of known exploits. There is something called a zero-day attacks, which I will talk about. Okay, so basically a zero-day attack is an attack which has just been discovered very recently. Since it has been discovered recently, there is no security patch out yet for it. That will be done when the application or the program, the developers will actually come together, review the security code, write a patch for it, release it in the next update. By that time, the zero-day attack is very vulnerable for all the systems because there is no security patch out for it yet. So many hackers, black hat hackers, do this for a profession. They keep monitoring zero-day attacks. As soon as there is a new zero-day attack out, they go ahead and then they scan as many organizations, as many machines as they can externally via the black box to try to poke and find out if this vulnerability exists. If they find that this vulnerability exists, they pawn the system right then and there. Now I just spoke about black hat hackers. There are hackers that make a living off zero-day attacks. So there are hackers that if they find a zero-day attack on a system like Windows or Adobe Photoshop or any application for that matter, they directly approach the company, tell them that, okay, I know this attack, this is a kind of exploit I can do, and if you want me to release this code to you, or before I make it public to the world, you need to pay me this much money. And yes, many organizations have to actually stoop down to that level and pay the person some kind of money or some kind of price for getting access their hands on the zero-day attack. So yeah, there's a lot of money right there on zero-day attacks. So that is why Nessus, when you bridge it to Metasploit, you can see that a system that actually scans all the vulnerabilities in your system and actually outputs that content to something called as Metasploit. Okay, just give me a second. This thing kind of crashed. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So when Nessus gives its results to Metasploit, Metasploit is nothing but an exploitation database. It has got all the payloads on it. Now when I say a payload, I mean something, so whenever an attack is taking place, there is some kind of vulnerability that has to be exploited. The data that holds this kind of exploitation code is known as a payload. Okay, is that clear to everyone? Yup. Raise your hand if it's clear. Okay. Hey guys, come on man, don't make it look like I'm talking alone. Don't do that. Everyone has to take part. Yep, okay. To the two new people that just joined in, you all can use the chat if you all want to say something. Please raise your hand, which is just below your name. Just below your name, you will see a small little hand there. Just okay. Please explain again. Which part are you talking about? Payloads? Are you talking about payloads? Okay, there we go. So okay, let me talk about it like this. So whenever there is a packet, any kind of packet that is exploiting a vulnerability. So this is a vulnerability, and the hacker, he's got nice little devil horns there. So now this hacker knows that this vulnerability exists. Okay, so what the hacker does, he wants to exploit this vulnerability. The way he can exploit this vulnerability is by sending some kind of data to it, any data, which is concealed inside a packet. Okay, okay. So whatever data is being sent to this kind of application here, there is this vulnerability. This vulnerability has to be exploited. This data is nothing but the payload. Okay, this is called the payload. So if any of you have ever heard of stack smashing, or anyone knows what is stack smashing or stack overflow. So basically, if anytime you all are programming and you have an array, exactly, when you have an array and it reaches the limit, so suppose 9 is the limit and I try to access the 10th index, I have overflowed the stack. This is known as stack smashing. So when I manage to do that, this number 10 is nothing but the payload. It will result in some kind of failure, some kind of output which will cause the system to crash. And if that error is not handled properly, I might be able to get access to that system. You never know. So this my attempt of just putting the number 10 instead of 9, this is a payload. A payload can be absolutely anything. Yeah, I'm speaking about buffer overflow right now. Exactly. Stack overflow, buffer overload. Exactly. Thank you. So do you see that any attempt to try to break down a system which becomes successful is known as a payload? Is that clear to everyone? Yeah, perfect. There we go. All right. So that's perfect, guys. Please interrupt me and stop me if you have any kind of doubt. I really appreciate it. I like it when people are active in my sessions. All right. So that is payloads right there. Now, whenever Nessus tends to find any kind of vulnerability, this vulnerability I just spoke about right now, when this vulnerability is found by Nessus will input all that vulnerability data to Metasploit. And as we know, Metasploit is a database that holds various payloads, which is nothing but exploitation packets. Can you imagine what kind of havoc that can create, right? So You don't even have to do anything. It's an automated process. If you all have ever used Nessus before, if you all have not used Nessus before, I highly recommend you all use it. It's this very simple to use user interface based web application that basically scans your entire system and looks for various vulnerabilities. A very small example of a vulnerability might be that, okay, your computer is running, it's using VLC music player. It's using version 6.0, and version 6 there is a Stack Overflow vulnerability in version 6. And the VLC organization, to handle this kind of error, they released the new patch or new software update of 6.1. Now everybody who has not updated to the version 6.1 is still vulnerable to this kind of attack, which I just explained down here. Alright, clear? So if Nessus is scanning your system and it detects that, okay, this system still has VLC 6.0 and this has got a known vulnerability of stacks or of buffer overflow, then it will immediately put that in its report. Now when this report is imported to Metasploit, Metasploit has got this payload, this packet data payload for this kind of problem. And when it puts in that payload and it attacks the application, it will exploit this vulnerability. Boom! You're gone. Okay, so that is known as MSF console. It's this very, very nifty tool that has got a whole database full of various exploits and payloads, and they are pretty open about it. They have, the first thing you see when you open Metasploit is we have these many payloads, we know these many exploits, there are these many kind of attacks available in our system, and various things like that. So Metasploit is known for having many zero-day attacks. So I just explained what a zero-day attack is. If you did not understand what a zero-day attack is, just raise your hand, I will explain it again. So Metasploit knows many zero-day attacks. So before VLC can actually update their version of version 6.1. Okay, so I think we have someone who did not, Krati, you don't know what a zero-day attack is? Really? You finished the first year, what is wrong with you? Hello, Krati. Oh, okay, sorry, okay. So there are members there that don't know what zero-day attack is. That's completely fine. Just talk about what you don't know, and that's what I'll talk on. So a zero-day attack is any kind of exploitation vulnerability. This vulnerability right here. Any vulnerability that has not been patched by the software developers yet is known as a zero-day attack. So right now, if VLC releases a 6.0 version of VLC media player, and that has a known vulnerability of stack smashing or buffer overflow, and attackers and hackers are actually able to attack VLC and gain root access, and they are doing this. This is a zero-day attack because nobody actually knows about it. It's the 0th day of that vulnerability. Maybe the next day when VLC finds out about this, they will write a patch for this and they will make their new VLC version 6.1 which does not have this kind of hack anymore. Okay, that is called a zero-day attack. Is that fine? Hello. Okay, fine. Yeah. So there's a lot of mess here. Just 1 second. There we go. Wow. Okay. Now I can see much better. Alright. So Metasploit is a security tool used by professionals for a very long time. This can be used for the ethical side and also by attackers likewise. So it is very, very easy to attack using Metasploit. Okay. When attackers usually attack and they hack using this Nessus and Metasploit combination, that is the beginning of exploitation. That is the very, very first step of exploitation. I mean, that is where the ladder actually starts going up. Then there are customized, crafted payloads where you actually customize something for a particular vulnerability. There's a whole bunch of stuff there. But yeah, that is the no point. This is where this is the attacking beginning right now. Okay, so that is Metasploit, and basically what I wanted to talk about is this Nessus and Metasploit bridge. This bridge is very often used by everyone. I want everyone, like, if you ever are interested in these kind of things, please go ahead and have a operating system set up in your virtual machine and try to run Nessus on it and export that data to Metasploit. There are tons of guides and tutorials out there. All you need to do is Google. Okay, it's very, very, very effective, is what I can say. I have to really monitor what I say around here because it's being recorded. So there we go. Now we have come to my favorite part, SQL injections. So how many of you all have used SQL before? You all know what are SQL statements, and I'll go ahead, put your hand up, it's fine. All right. So 4, 5 people. Wow. 6. Okay, nice. So everyone knows what SQL is. That's perfectly good. We have a whole bunch of varied people in information assurance that come from different backgrounds. So if you don't know what a SQL statement is or what I'm talking about, and you don't want to talk right now in front of everyone, you can meet me after this session, and I will happily explain what is SQL to you. I will start from the bare basics. Don't worry about it. So this right now is nothing but a form. I've used PHP because PHP and MySQL is a combination that is most commonly used by most web applications. So this example will be in PHP and MySQL. Now the reason I say damage, you have no idea, is because there are so many hundreds of thousands of web applications out there that are actually vulnerable to SQL injection, and people just don't know. Programmers are either lazy, or they don't care enough, or they don't have that knowledge. Alright, so that is why as security experts it is our duty to ensure that there are some secure coding principles and practices which have to be followed. I'm going to give a very nice example of SQL injections, and yes, there will be a demo. I really love SQL injections, blind and non-blind both. So I'm going to go into depth about what SQL injections are. So generally, this is what any kind of login page or kind of, just one second. Yeah. So this is how any kind of form looks like on a web page. It can be either Facebook, it can be Google+, it can be your own personal thing. So whenever we are talking about any kind of web application, there is something known as an input box where a user has to enter his username and password, click on the submit button. Is that fine? Everybody knows that, right? So right now, perfect. So right now, this username field and password field with a nice little submit button here, this is a form. It's a very poorly drawn form. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at drawing, but this is a form right now, and this place where you can actually enter some kind of data is nothing but an attack surface. Again, please get used to these kind of lingo or language. This is security lingo. Okay, this is an attack surface. This is the part where the web application logic, the logic of a web application, is exposed to the user. So when a user can actually input data, that data is going to go inside the logic of the web application. This is an attack surface right here. Okay, attack surface can be vulnerable or non-vulnerable. Most of the times we have to check to see if that kind of attack surface is vulnerable. That is what we are known for as security experts. I mean, unless you choose to join the dark side and the wrong force and shit, this is what we are supposed to do right now. Again, please do not attempt to do these kind of things until it's a very controlled environment. Either you own that kind of environment or you have written permission. I myself, as much as I love screwing around, I don't do all these things in Intuit because I really don't want to get kicked out or sued. I really don't want to go to jail. So you have to be very careful when you want to poke around any kind of system. It's not allowed legally to do any of these kind of things. So this is just for knowledge, for your education, to know that how you can save yourself from these kind of attacks. You have been warned. Alright, there you go. So right now in this form, whenever you enter any kind of data right here. So when I enter, hey, I'm Avnish, that's my username, and I click on the submit button, I'm being logged in right now. So what happens is, as you can see right here in this SQL statement, my username goes here, and a SQL statement is actually passed and executed by the backend that says select star from the users table where any username with the name of Avnish exists. Okay, is that fine? That is how all web applications work. Usually and password equal to password, dollar password and stuff. But just to give you a general idea of how the backend looks like, this is how it looks like. Is this much understood by everybody? Perfect. Okay. Perfect. Just stop me in case, yeah, perfect. Just stop me in case you'll lose me, okay? Now that the basics are clear, now I'm going to talk about an SQL injection. Okay, right here, when I say my name is Avnish, just observe one thing. I'm sorry, this should be small. Okay, just observe one thing. Whatever I'm actually putting in here in this field is going right here in this field. Very simple. Okay, there is something known as a magic code. A magic code is nothing but a single quote. A single quote right there. Now, if you're a programmer, you will know that whenever you want to either pass a parameter to a function or you want to print something, we usually put them via quotes. In the same way, whenever you are executing an SQL statement, you are putting it in some kind of SQL variable first, this statement, and then you execute this. Or even if you don't put this in a variable and you try to execute it, observe right here that there is a single quote, and right here there is a single quote. Okay, now here's the magic trick. If I include a single quote before I put my name, the system crashes. That's the beauty of how the system works. Okay, because what's going to happen here when I put my apostrophe here, when I put my single quote here and that single quote goes right here, the SQL statement quote which started here, the statement which starts here, it ends right here. So actually, when the compiler tries to execute this code, it will say that, hey, this part I understood, but after this, when your name is coming Avnish, I have no idea what Avnish means. It doesn't know it's a variable. It doesn't know it's a name that I am pushing it in. It thinks that Avnish must be some kind of command which it cannot find. So it crashes right then. Sweet, right? So this is the beginning of SQL injections. This is how SQL injections actually came into play, by playing around with code. And when you put a single code right there and you end the statement, which is usually a semicolon, that is how we usually in programming practices put a semicolon at the end. I'm just going to clear the page just to make it a bit more clear. Okay. So when you put a semicolon right there, you end this statement right here. Okay. So the last thing it understood was an equal to sign. That's it. After that, when I put this, it will actually think that this line has ended. It will try to read this part, thinking it's a new statement. And then when I say, hey, echo, good grief, I'm sorry, echo dollar passwords or any kind of random stuff, or echo /etc/password. This is what so etc password is where all the usernames and passwords are sorted, hashed and stored in any Linux system. So when I try to actually cat it or I display it or echo it, it will actually spit out a whole list of usernames and passwords, and in the end it will reach here. It can even crash or it can actually do anything. That does not matter. The actual beauty of it is you have got what you want. Is that clear with everyone? Perfect. Does anyone have any doubts with SQL injection? Any doubts? Stop me right now. I will repeat what I just said. Perfect. All right. So I will give a live demo a bit later, but first I need to talk about the security practices of how you can actually stop SQL injection from happening. I actually love SQL injection, but we have to stop it. So now I'm going to speak about how we actually stop ourselves from SQL injection happening. Just give me a second. Yeah, there we go. So security coding, I can give you an idea about this, is you have to actually not exploit anymore, and you have to go on the secure coding environment. If you're using PHP, there is a sweet little function known as MySQL real escape string. When you say escape, again, this is a very commonly known term in the security world, that dude, you should escape that variable. What does escape mean? So escape means you're actually escaping from this magic code. That is what the entire thing revolves around. This little code right there, which causes all the trouble in the world and breaks every web application that is not secure, is this little magic code. So you need to escape it. Now how can you escape it? Is basically this function converts this single quote into backslash single quote. This backslash is nothing, backslash, forward slash, I don't know, it's some kind of slash. So this slash is nothing but it's helping you escape the single quote. So at the back end, when it gets this slash with a single quote, I'm going to go right back here. When it gets a backslash and a single quote, it is going to ignore the single quote. The single quote is going to get ignored when you use a backslash right before it. Alright? And when you use a backslash to escape this single quote, it is going to ignore it. It is going to catch the next single quote, which is right here at the end of the statement, and that is how you actually bypass a SQL injection, a potential SQL injection. So this is how you actually go ahead and escape it. Is that clear with everyone? Awesome, awesome. So if you have doubts, again, just stop me. Okay? So that's the beauty about escaping any kind of variable or string. For all my peeps out there who don't use PHP and use a whole bunch of different languages, this is one for Java, this is one for Perl, this is for JavaScript. Yes, even JavaScript has it, because even though you will say, Avnish, we don't use SQL and JavaScript, that does not happen. I know it does not happen, but in JavaScript there is this awesome thing known as XSS or cross-site scripting, where you can actually exploit a whole bunch of applications using cross-site scripting. I will explain what cross-site scripting is in detail. Yes, it is part of the demos. So this also revolves around magic codes, or it revolves around using illegal characters which are not supposed to be used, because the plus sign in JavaScript is used for concatenation, and if you allow your user to actually input plus, he can concatenate something and get an output from the system which is not expected by the person who programmed or developed that application. So you're seeing a kind of theme here, that you can never, and when I say never, I mean never ever ever trust user input. Ever. This is the golden rule of security. Alright? I'm a bit exhausted. I'm just going to have a sip of water. I've had a very long day at work. Just give me 2 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. I'll be back at 4 or 5. Okay? Is that fine? If you all have any doubts, anything, you can start discussing right down there in the chat room. You can have your own discussions and stuff. Talk about various technologies you'll use and stuff like that. Alright, I'll see you all in a bit. 4 or 5. I will be back at 4. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not 4 o'clock for you all. 7? Is that? Yeah, 7:05. Perfect, 7:05. I will see you at 7:05. Yeah, I'm in California, don't blame me. Hey, hello. Alright, so we are back. It's 5 minutes are done. Hi. So is my voice, video, everything working fine? I have to keep checking every every time I leave. Perfect. Perfect. I really don't trust Blackboard Collaborate application. Yo. Hi. So if you all have any doubts, feel free to ask down there. We have some moderators right here. The first two people, Krati and Shikhar, they are moderators right there, and they are here to help you all. So if you all are having any problems setting anything up, feel free to go ahead. We'll help you solve whatever technical issues you all have. Very soon, I'm going to show you all demos of SQL injection and cross-site scripting and command inclusion and file inclusion and a whole bunch of stuff. As I get time, I will just keep showing you all. If you all are interested, we can go more in depth. Some really crazy security, like it will be like live demos on something that is known as DVWA. DVWA is nothing but like the damn vulnerable web application. All right. So DVWA is a specially designed web application that is again built on PHP MySQL. The reason they have done that is because PHP plus MySQL based applications are the most commonly used most popular applications. All right. It has got a whole bunch of difficulties ranging all the way from simple to hard, and it has got a whole list of various interfaces, or as we learned a new term today, attack surfaces. I'm going to show you all that how a typical attacker / hacker would go ahead and try to do something malicious, get access to your web application via this kind of DVWA kind of application. DVWA is a purposely built vulnerable application just so that attackers can go ahead and test. If you're like me and totally into these kind of things where you can get to practice different kind of attacks and stuff, this is definitely something you all should look into. Please go ahead and download this is a bunch of HTML, PHP files which will need a database in the background, and this all is provided by LAMP or XAMPP, and that is why I was asking everyone to get XAMPP so you all can download this. If you already know how to host a server, go ahead and download the main file from here, extract it in your htdocs or var/www folder where you all can actually access it, and we can step through it one by one and do these different kind of attacks. So everyone likes attacks, right? Everyone wants to see awesome attacks and how you can exploit web applications, right? No? Yes? Yes. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Yeah, that's what we are all here for. But we also have to learn stuff from it, and we also have to learn that how we can avoid these kind of things, because that is what information assurance is about. Learning to avoid these kind of things. I mean, doing it is the fun part, but you have to learn how to protect yourself from it also well. Before we go ahead, there's a small legal disclaimer right here that ISSA at Northeastern is not responsible for any of your actions you're going to do from this session. Kindly research any kind of tools you plan to use. Whenever you're using them, you need to know what are the repercussions of each tool, and if there is something happening which you do not know about, what that can cause. And I'm not responsible for any actions or attacks done by you. Right here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and share my desktop with everyone. Okay. I hope that is clear for everyone. Awesome. Alright, so right here, can everyone see that? First of all, I have a very, very big screen. I'm sorry. It's an Alienware. I'm not sorry. So can everyone? Yeah, perfect. Perfect. That's clear. Awesome. So right here you can see I'm hosting Kali/DVWA. Kali is the Kali here stands for nothing but localhost. I have started my LAMP right here. So when I'm running LAMP, my Apache is on. Apache is nothing but the web server, which is a part of the stack. My MySQL is on, which is the database application for the LAMP stack. So these are the two most important things when I'm going to be showing you all what you can exactly do with DBWA. So first things first, whenever you come here, first thing you're going to see is a username and password. Whenever you all download it and run this, which I highly recommend you all do, because there's a whole bunch of things you can actually learn from this, of how not to program. Because if you program in this vulnerable way, this is how attackers can attack you. The username is by default is admin, and the password by default, of course, is password. So we're gonna go ahead and there is this whole bunch of, okay, so first things first, this small little part that says that this application is vulnerable on purpose, and do not upload it anywhere live, because this application can be exploited and the hosting or the server where you host this can be compromised by a third person or an attacker. So they also recommend downloading and installing XAMPP on your local machine or inside your local area network or your virtual machine, and it is solely for testing. Alright. Of course, they also do not take any kind of responsibility, blah 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 blah. Just understand the normal stuff. Okay, they've got a bunch of instructions out there, readmes and stuff like that. In the setup, I'm using my backend. You have to basically set up your stuff right here. So when I press it, it creates a database for you, a users table for you. There is some a default data that is inserted in the user table. Some kind of stuff. You can see there is a list of attacks you can do right here. Okay. There is all the way from brute forcing to command execution. CSRF is something that is cross-site request forgery. Cross-site request forgery, I mean, I will explain what it is. When you say cross-site, it includes multiple sites. And when you say request forgery, that means basically you're making something look like it came from another website. So if I am an attacker right now, I'm going to store something right here that will affect another domain. Okay, so right now if I own a website, avnishpathak.com, no, I really own a website, avnishpathak.com. Let's assume it is malicious, which it is totally not, but let's assume it's malicious, and I have some kind of malicious code there, and that malicious code has got a payload which helps me do cross-site request forgery. Basically, it will exploit your system and browser in such a way that your other tab which you have open right here at the side, which can be Facebook or Google.com or anything like that, you will see some kind of effect. It will affect this kind of web application right here. So you might see a pop-up right here, or alert from Facebook.com or offensivesecurity.com that says, hi, you are going to be redirected to this website, please log in there again. And then when he presses OK, he will be redirected to my malicious website where he'll have to re-enter his credentials, and I actually steal them from him. So you see how I did cross-site request forgery, made the user, fooled him into going somewhere else by redirecting him, then doing something called as phishing with a PH, not an F. We are not phishing, but PH, which is phishing, which is nothing but fooling somebody into making him think he is on a legitimate website, but actually it is not a legitimate website. So he will never realize that this is a malicious website because it looks the same. So if I make a copy of Facebook.com and I host it on my own web server, avnishpathak.com/Facebook, and I send you that link, and you happily go ahead, you click on it, and you see that this is Facebook.com, you will see the email ID and password, everything will look as it is. In fact, you're going to see this right here. You're going to see, is it loading? Oh yeah, there it is loading. You're going to see exactly this. Just assume that the URL is this. And if you don't see the URL, you will think that this is a legitimate Facebook website. You're going to go ahead and enter your credentials right here, and you're going to click on that login button. I am going to, at my backend, I'm going to take your email ID, your password, and send you to the real Facebook.com and you will get logged into Facebook.com. I will send your credentials also along with you. So when you enter Facebook.com, you have no idea what just happened. You will think everything is completely fine. You will not even know you were on a wrong or malicious website before. And that is what phishing actually is that the user, you fool the user, you trick him into logging in on a malicious version of a real website or a genuine website. So it is very, very important as people who practice security, we always inspect the URL before we give our credentials anywhere. Always look out for that S sign right there. If you don't see HTTPS and you see http.facebook.com, it is highly likely that somebody has removed the SSL. There is a man in the middle attack. Man in the middle is an attacker sitting between me and Facebook.com. And when he's sitting right there between me and Facebook.com, he wants to see my data. And everybody knows SSL is encryption. So if he manages to remove the encryption, he can see the data very clearly in plain format, and that is why that S is missing right there. So when you see that the S is missing, usually please do not go ahead and put in your credentials if it's a well-known website. If you're giving your credit card information or any kind of payment information and you notice the S is missing out there, do not give your details. You have been warned. Anytime you actually try to access Facebook.com via HTTP Facebook.com, it will automatically send you to the HTTPS version of Facebook.com, because this is one of the most, this is how men in the middle attacks take place, is that they can sniff your data out from you on the LAN or on a particular network. Alright, Kapish, everyone gets what SSL, how HTTPS actually is supposed to be used, how websites are, what phishing is. Perfect. Alright, awesome. Damn, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, DBWA, exactly. So that is cross. Wow, I really spoke a lot. So that is cross-site request forgery, is when you make it look like it is appearing from another website by putting some malicious content on this website. Insecure CAPTCHA, file inclusion. File inclusion is nothing but trying to access other files on the web server which you do not have access to. Alright? You do not have access to, but you want to see the content of that of the other files on the website. So that is file inclusion. SQL injection, my favorite thing. SQL injection blind. Okay, so there are two types of SQL injections. One is SQL injection and one is SQL injection blind. Blind is the tougher version of SQL injection. The reason for this is, as the name suggests, you have absolutely no idea about the technologies being used in the backend. So if I'm an attacker and it is just a black box for me, I have no idea what backend is being used, if it's Java, if it's PHP, it's JSP, it's whatever backend technology is being used. What database is it? Is it Oracle? Is it MariaDB? Is it Postgres SQL? Is it MySQL? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea about anything, and I'm starting from zero. That is blind. Very often, when you're doing SQL injection in a non-blind way, if it's not blind, usually when you poke around just a bit, it throws an error. As you can see there, I put in the famous magic code, the single quote. So this is why I'm saying, like, if you all want to practice this with me, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. You can go ahead and download DBWA and walk with me step by step via this kind of interface. Alright, I put in a single quote. So if in the back end there is a SQL statement that starts with a single quote, and I'm injecting a single quote right here, I have, listen to my words very carefully, I have prematurely ended that SQL statement, because of which an error has been thrown. Whenever an error is thrown, it spits it out on the console. The console is nothing but your HTML page right now. So this actually throws an error right here, as you can see. Now observe. If I'm just a hacker and I'm poking, I had no idea what this is, but your error told me that I am running a MySQL server. See, I had no idea what that was, and just an error which was generated by MySQL, I found out that this is MySQL right now. There are many security practitioners that actually go ahead out of their way, they go ahead and disable different kind of errors because they don't want outsiders to actually find out this is reconnaissance right here. Now I know that this is MySQL Server version. If this was disabled, if this error was disabled, and I just saw something standard that, hey, there seems to be a problem in our servers due to technical difficulties. Although the system is vulnerable because my magic code broke it, I have no idea because I have got no information right now. That is SQL injection blind. See, nothing happened. Even though the system is vulnerable, I mean, I am telling you it is vulnerable, but you all can assume it is vulnerable. There is no error generated right now. There is nothing that says, hey, this is where your SQL statement broke, this was the error that was generated, this is the error number. So this is completely blind. It's challenging, and trust me, it's a lot of fun. If you're into this kind of stuff, it's a whole lot of fun. It's a huge challenge to actually make it spit out something. So there we go. Also we have uploading vulnerabilities. So this was something major back in 2011. Yeah, in 2011. PHP 5.3 or 5.2, I don't remember the version, had this major vulnerability for file upload. Now, as most of you all may know, when Facebook.com asks you to upload a display picture and you say okay, and you select, you're asked to select an image, but you actually choose something else which is not an image, which is an HTML file or a malicious little PHP file, and you press OK, open, and you try to upload this, Facebook is gonna say, no way dude, that is not an image and that was not uploaded. Alright, so basically right now what I'm saying is there is a whole lot of security checks. Just give me a second, what's wrong with this? Okay, there's a whole lot of checks that take place around the content you're uploading. Right now what I'm talking about is this vulnerability exists because people manage to upload malicious content, HTML, PHP, whatever they wanted, even though the security check was for an image file. And when they say an image file, you can imagine in the backend there must be something that checks the extension of the file, to check if it is a .jpeg image, if it's a PNG image, etc., etc., etc. So this vulnerability goes ahead and we're going to exploit this in some time. Now, the XSS thing which I explained about before is nothing but cross-site scripting. Now, there are two types of cross-site scripting. Okay, it's really simple, really simple. When a cross-site scripting is temporary, it's right then and there, it is called reflected. And when it is stored, which means it will get saved as part of the database in the backend. So every time you actually execute that, and that information is loaded from the database. Like this message came from the database right now. So if I say, hi, I came from the database, and I press sign the guest book, this goes in the database and it is loaded every time. It loads every time I come to this page. I can see this right here. Okay, so if I manage to put some kind of payload and I manage to put that payload inside the database, so every time I come to this page and that information is bought from the database, that payload will get executed and it will exploit the vulnerability. Alright, are we cool? Did you get the difference? Where are you people? Oh, yeah. So everyone got it? I think we have a doubt. Okay, no doubts, right? Everything's good. Alright, no doubts. Perfect. So that's the difference. Okay, do we have a doubt? I think I'm lagging. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Okay. Hello, Krati. Any moderator out there?
No, you're fine.
Am I lagging? Alright, fine. Alright. Okay. So that's the difference between a reflected XSS and stored XSS. Reflected is temporary, where it does not enter a database. It can be part of just right now, and it's something like this. My name is Avnish, and I press submit, and it will say hello Avnish. And this is a temporary thing because you can see the URL right there. It says name Avnish. If I change this to Avi right now, this message is going to change. You see that? So this is something temporary. There is no database involved. That is why it is reflected, because it is temporary. It's right here. So if I give this URL to my friend, and instead of Avi, there is actually payload right here, and that person, that friend of mine, clicks on that URL. I'm not going to send anyone such a URL. Do not worry. Somebody actually clicks on this URL. This page will load, and instead of saying hello Avnish, they're going to get hello, and then that payload is going to execute right there, which will generate some kind of content right here, and that person will think, oh my god, this website DBWA knows this information, or this must be genuine, or something like that. I will give you an example. Alright, so since I'm extremely restricted on time, I want to save the last 20 minutes for Q&A and hopefully setting these kind of things up for you all. I'm going to show only a few things. Okay, I'm going to show you command execution. So out of the 10 people that we have here, how many have used Linux before? Yeah. Ooh, 6, 7. Awesome. That's perfect. So everyone has used. Awesome. So right now, if you can see the screen here, when I say ping 192, okay, check it. 127.0.0.1. This is localhost. Okay, everybody knows that. So when you do this, you're going to get like a whole bunch of stuff right here that says, hey, I'm pinging localhost right now. God damn it, just give me a second. My mouse is a bit busted. Okay, there we go. So it's going to give you, hey, this is the packet, this is the time to live, this is how much response time that was taken, this is the ping. There is a total of 3 packets that was transmitted, there was 3 received, blah blah blah, a whole bunch of information right here. So if you all have ever seen this before, this is going to look very familiar to you. When I'm actually executing a code here, look at this. It generated a bunch of output to me saying that, hey, I pinged localhost, this is the response time, this is the statistics, 3 packets were transmitted, 3 were received, 0 loss, blah 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 blah. So right now I can safely assume by common knowledge that this is nothing but a Linux system that is running in the backend. Also that this is very similar to this. So when I'm actually putting some kind of IP address here in the backend, it must be taking this IP value, right? It must be taking this value and doing something like this. Alright? In the backend, it must be looking like this. I'm a hacker, I'm just guessing. I do not know yet. So when I assume like this, there's only one way to test it, okay? When I do something like this and I say hey or something like that, any nonsense, it did not work. Since the command failed, it did not generate anything. There is no error here. This is something which is like blind right now. So I do not know what's going on. Okay? Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. Now, if you all have used Linux before and you all are good with simple commands of Linux such as ls, oh, I'm not going to show you all what's on my screen list, but yeah, something like ls, which displays a list of files and folders in my computer. Yeah, I'm a security guy. I'm not going to show you all what's on my laptop. So ls is nothing but a list of these kind of things. You all will also know that this is nothing but a bash command. A bash command is what this is right now. And this symbol right here, which is also known in programming terms as OR, this is also called a pipe in bash. This pipe helps you run different things in parallel. So when you do ls right now, when I'm actually doing ls, it is showing me a list of files and folders which is actually empty, but in parallel, because of that little line there which tells bash that, hey, you know, you got to do both these commands simultaneously. It says, okay, fine, I will do that. So watch. When I say echo hey and pipe it with echo hi, God damn it, just give me a second. Should I do something else? That's good. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, now watch this. It also gave me a list of files and folders with a hide. The command I used right now was an and, which tells the system that, hey, you got to do both these things together. I wonder why the pipe didn't work. Okay, so why don't I go ahead and try the and. So right now I know that this must be a $IP and I'm going to try to inject it with some kind of malicious code right here, which is also known as the payload. I'm going to try doing and ls. There we go. You see, it also gave me a ping of all the information right there, all the ping information, which was normal, and it also executed the ls command and gave me a list of files and folders which are currently present in that folder. That's pretty sweet, right? Oh, Lokesh has used that before? No? I'm not too sure. So, are there any doubts on this? No. Alright, fine, perfect. So, this is a perfect example of how code is not sanitized, and it actually should be sanitized, because if you don't check your input, like I said, never ever trust the user input. And this is what happens when you don't actually check. Whenever you are playing around with this application and you are stuck somewhere, you can click this button right here down below called View Source. The View Source button basically shows you the backend source code of this program. So it is something like a hint which helps you. So it is something like a hint. Yeah. So it is something like a hint which will help you. So that you can actually perform your attack better. So you see right here that as soon as you submit, it will pick up the IP address, put it in a variable called as $target. It will determine the operating system right now and execute the ping command. So if it figures out that the system is Windows, it will run the ping in the CMD mode, the command mode. Or if it realizes that this system is not a Windows system, it is actually, okay, that's a bit wrong, because it should check for other operating systems also, but it is just assuming that it's a Linux or a Mac, and it is doing the ping command in a separate way. Alright? They almost look the same, but something you all will know in Windows, a ping command generates 3 packets. And in Linux, a ping command happens infinite n number of times until you stop it with a -C3, which says that, okay, count 3 times only. Okay, so whenever you're doing a ping command, it's gonna go on forever until you stop it. So that is the whole reason why they actually gave a diversion here of Windows, because Windows by default does it for 3 packets. If it's another system, they're gonna do it only 3 times. Okay, so that is how we did command execution. I had to force the stop right here. Anyway, so that's that. Also, something I will talk to you all about is right here. You can actually use dots. There is a vulnerability known as file or folder inclusion. So when I'm doing ls and I actually do // that means if you're used to Linux kind of methods and commands, or if you're not, // is actually talking about a parent folder right now. So when I say ls of // it will actually give me the list of files and folders in the above folder right now. What, did that work? There we go. See, you can see that it gave me a list of files and folders which are in the parent folder right now. I am in a folder called exec, and I can see exec as a folder right here, and there are a whole bunch of folders along with exec. You have to understand how dangerous this is. And when I do ls of slash, which means your root, look, it sent me, oh my god, that is actually my system right there. So you see why they said that do not host this on a server is because right now anyone can execute any kind of command and pawn your entire system right there. Okay, I can actually do a whole bunch of commands right there, okay, and if I can actually see if it did what I wanted it to do. Let it go. Damn it. So you can see how it actually affects. Maybe the permissions are not set so that it can actually modify my parent, my root, which is actually a good thing because this web application working right here is running with Apache, which is a user by its own, and it may not have the access permissions required to write files on root, which is a very good thing. That's a very good security practice there. You never want to give your web application service, which is HTTP or Apache or Tomcat or whatever web service you're using. You never want to give it full root access, because then if I manage to find a security flaw like this, I will pawn your entire system, I will screw everything up, and I will leave it a whole mess. Okay, I will do that. Okay, so that takes care of command execution. So everyone understood this, right? I hope this is fine. If you all have any doubts, just put your hand up. No, perfect. All right. Next. I'm gonna save SQL injection for the last. I will show you all how to upload a file. Please do not do this, okay? I'll keep repeating this because seeing an upload button is a very common thing. Okay, so please do not do this. So I'm explaining because you all need to understand why this is a security flaw and how to go about doing this. Okay, so whenever it says choose an image, I want everyone to look into this awesome add-on called Tamper Data. If you are Firefox users, it is Tamper Data. If you are Google Chrome users, I don't know, just Google it. See, is there an extension for Tamper Data? Okay, there is something called Tamper Monkey, which is similar to what Tamper Data is doing, I think. No, it's not Tamper Monkey. Anyway, if you're using Google Chrome, that's perfectly fine as well. There is a network tab down below. There's a network tab which is similar to this right below, and you can actually see all the information that is going to and fro right here. What are the various cookies and how you can play around with it and stuff like that. Right here you'll be able to see all the kind of packets that are being sent, and you can stop them, you can edit them, you can modify them, you can play around a lot with them. You should really look into that. Right now, whenever you have a file, any kind of file, okay, there is something known as header, content, or the data, or payload. A payload may not always be an evil thing, okay, don't get it wrong. Payload means the data. Payload, you define the word payload as data. So there is a difference. Data does not have to always be evil, right? And so this is basically how it looks like, and based on what kind of file it is, there may or may not be a tail. I don't know. There might be a tailor kind of thing. I don't know. So basically the header of the file if you'll ever know this, if you'll have ever messed around with any kind of file by opening it with a notepad or text editor when you're not supposed to open it, you'll get a whole bunch of random character garbage. You won't understand what it is, but you will understand that the first 2-3 lines you can actually make out what it says. Well, that is because it is a header, and this header information contains a lot of important data about the file, such as the length, the content, the type of file, etc., etc., etc. So you see that this information right here, many at that time PHP was checking file type based on the header information. One thing that hackers came around by doing is they realized that they can change the type of any kind of image or any kind of file they're actually uploading to the server. They can spoof, or they can make the file type look like something else when it's completely not. Okay, so right now when I'm actually sending an HTML file, or I'm going to send a PHP file, because PHP files are usually, it's very easy to have a shell or some malicious PHP file, so it will do some heavy damage then. So when I'm actually putting an index.php and uploading it to the server, it's telling me your image was not uploaded. Let's try it with a different image, with a real image. I'm uploading a PNG. I hope that takes it. When I press upload, the image was not uploaded. Why? Wait a second. Let me try to find some JPEGs. So I hope it will take a GIF. What's wrong with this thing? I think there are some permission errors. Permission denied. There we go. Just give me a second. Okay, I think I see what's happening here. Just a second. What the heck? I'm really sorry guys, just give me a second. Okay, I think I figured it out. Okay, it's supposed to move this file. It's uploading it, but it's unable to write it in this area. There we go. I'm so sorry. Yeah, there was a permission error, and right now it just told me that this file of yours, which is a GIF image, which is an actual image, is successfully uploaded. Okay, so right now I figured out that there's a difference between image files and non-image files. There are some image files that are actually uploadable based on their header types, and if it determines that your header file is not an image, it's going to not let you upload that kind of file. So let's see what we can do about this. There's a sweet plugin called Tamper Data, which is very nifty actually. You should really look into this even if you're not doing something like this. Tamper Data basically helps you by helping you literally tamper with the data you're supposed to or just about to upload to any kind of server. Again, use this at your own risk. Okay, right now I've started my tamper filter, and just watch, whenever I click upload, instead of actually, whenever I'm trying to upload any kind of file, let's say I'm uploading a GIF file again, which is allowed. So when I'm uploading this and when I click upload button, it asks me, do you want to tamper with this request? And yes, I want to tamper with this request. It's giving me information about your host name, is Kali, what browser are you using, what kind of things it's going to accept, a simple packet header, which is like completely normal, the referrer, the cookie, and all these kind of things, which is completely fine. Observe, there is something called as post data. Now, post data is nothing but a kind of file / data, form data you're about to post. Whenever you look at a form in HTML, you have to specify, is this method of a get or a post? So basically, a post data will be posted to the server, and there will be some kind of PHP in the backend that is catching it and working on the data. I'm just going to copy all the data right here, paste it somewhere nice so we all can see what it actually consists of. There we go. So you see right here is blah 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 blah, some form data, some file size, some other random stuff. Name of the file, content type. See, this is the part I'm interested in. It tells me that this is nothing but an image / GIF, and this part is what I'm going to copy right now. Okay, there is a chance that you can actually open your PHP file and try to go in the hex and try to change its content type from application / PHP type, the content type, and overwrite it as images, but then that will ruin your PHP file because it will no longer work like a PHP file. So we are going to spoof it. We are going to fool the server into thinking that this is not a PHP file, it is a GIF image type. So observe, I have copied this content type right now, and I'm going to say OK because I wanted to upload this file and it's successfully uploaded, which is completely fine. That is what I wanted. Now I'm going to go ahead and upload a PHP file, which I'm not supposed to, any random PHP file. By default, this will not let a PHP file upload at the backend. It's going to give me an error saying it's not uploaded. But since I have my tamper data on, I'm going to click on the upload button and it's going to ask me if I want to tamper. Observe, I have post data again. I'm copying it into my notes so we can study it in depth. It gives me a whole bunch of stuff that this is the kind of file, blah 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 blah. And the part which I'm particularly interested in is right here. It's telling me it's an application /x-php, which is what I'm going to spoof right now. Observe, I'm not changing the property of the file because then that would alter the file. I would have to rewrite that file on my hard disk, which is not what I'm doing. I am just spoofing it so that the server will get fooled into thinking that, hey, this is not a PHP file, this is a GIF file, you can go ahead and you can upload it. I have pasted that code there because I changed the PHP side, because I changed the PHP part to a GIF. Let's see what happens. There we go. Boom! You just uploaded a PHP file, which is like some malicious kind of file. You can access it, you can scroll around it, you can actually have a reverse batch shell code, which will open a shell in the vulnerable system. You can connect to it, you can do some crazy stuff right there, okay? So that is file upload. That is how you can bypass the security around file upload. Coming from version 5.2, I don't know when this vulnerability was found, in which version, but afterwards they saw that how this can be patched, and they came out with some more secure versions of trying to patch it. Alright, so the next time you upload a file, it will be more secure. Is that clear? Did everyone get that? I'm looking for responses right there. Perfect. Is everyone else alive, asleep, there? Awesome. Awesome. There we go. Alive. Everyone's alive. Awesome. I have very little time. So see, it's still asking me if I want to continue, and I'm going to shut down my tamper data. I'm going to show you all some sweet reflected stored SQL injection really fast because I have very less time right now. My name is Avnish, so it's showing me this right now. Hello Avnish. So again, if you all have any kind of doubts, if you all are stuck anywhere, you can view this little button here called View Source. I like poking around the system to try to figure out how to screw around with it. So I'm not going to look at the source code. I'm not a white hat. Like I don't want to be like the white box testing thing. I want to do black box testing. So when I look at the source code right here of Hello Avnish, if you can see this down here, scroll down, look down. You all can see a pre-tag in which Hello Avnish is written. I hope everyone can see that. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to escape the pre-tag. There we go. I already practiced it before. And I'm going to try to inject something right here. There we go. So what I'm going to do right here is the pre-tag exists here. Okay. So I'm going to try to end the pre-tag first. So I'm going to say end of pre-tag, and since I know that there is an ending tag already, we don't want to confuse the application by thinking, oh, there's a double end tag, right? So what I'm going to do is very trickily open it again. There we go. So what I did was I ended it and then I opened it. So it looks like, okay, this is a pre-tag and it's ending here and then it's opening again and then it's ending again. Okay. Now I put in my payload right here. I put in a script right here that says alert on, and when I submit this, can everyone see that? Now usually when you have Internet Explorer or some other system, when it has the full alert box, it usually has that thing up there that says, hey, this website Kali/DVW blah 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 says this font. So I mean, even right now it is coming from this page, so you can assume that. So what this is right now is someone will think, okay, this message is coming from this system and it is not user generated. How can it be user generated, right? You remember when I said like hello Avnish was here? See, the pre started and the pre ended. Everything's normal. It has no idea what just happened. The URL, have a look at the URL. This is my payload. When I copy this entire thing and I go ahead and I give it to you people and I say, hey guys, go ahead, click on it. You all cannot click on it because it's on my local host. Doesn't make sense. But when you all click on it, what's going to happen is when somebody clicks on this, like I'm going to right now, it opens in a new tab and boom, there's suddenly a JavaScript right there. So you see how I can inject my JavaScript code right there and fool everyone into thinking that this actually came from this website, but actually I have generated it. So all I have to do is, yeah, the URL is a bit obvious, but if you obfuscate it and encrypt the JavaScript right there, no one has any idea what just happened. What have we learned from this? Never ever click on a URL unless you really trust the person. I never click on any URLs. People send me junk all the time and I say, wow, that was awesome. I never touch a URL unless I really know that person. I trust that person and I see that there is a small little S after HTTP. Then I might click on it, depends. So that takes care of reflected. Now in stored, when I'm thinking about stored, right now it is going in the database. When I think about database and input going into database, there has to be something in the middle of this. The thing that is there in the middle of this is SQL. So when I'm putting Avnish here and some kind of random message here and signing it in the guest book, this information is going in the database. When I come back to this page, it is pulling it from the database and displaying it to me. So I'm going to try to do something here. I'm not going to do an SQL injection, but I'm going to try to inject a script tag right here. There we go. So observe, I'm not doing an SQL injection. This is not PHP code. I'm not coming out of SQL. I'm within my SQL statement, but I'm storing my payload inside the database. So when this payload goes inside the database and when it is pulled out again and displayed, HTML will think, wow, this is just a script tag. I'm supposed to run this like a JavaScript tag. And I sign the guestbook. As soon as it loads, watch, after message, it has stopped right here and it is showing me a message font. Okay? Now here's the fun part. Every time I come to this page, all these messages are getting loaded. Whenever these message gets loaded, my hacked message gets loaded. When my hacked message gets loaded, the script gets loaded. There you go. That is nothing but stored or non-reflected type of XSS. Okay, everyone got the difference between the two? Awesome. If there are any doubts, stop me right now. Awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and show you all SQL injection. This is the fun part, guys. This is my favorite thing. I really love these kind of things. So user ID. It's asking me to enter a user ID. I'm not gonna view the source. I want to do black box testing. So I'm gonna type 1 and press submit, and it tells me something like, hey, ID 1, your name is admin, your surname is admin. I'm like, okay. Then I press 2, I press submit. I see, hey, ID 2, first name is Gordon, surname is Brown. Right now, when you're reading this, when I am reading this, in my mind, I'm trying to form an SQL statement in the background. So right now, according to me, it is something like this. It's gonna be select first name, comma surname. There's no point pulling in the ID because ID is what I'm entering, right? So I don't need to select the ID. From something users table or user data table, it can be anything. I have no idea what it is. Where, this is the tricky part, ID equal to dollar post. Okay, for simplicity's sake, $ID. $ID is the variable where the ID, which I put 0, 1, 2, whatever, is stored right here. Here's the fun part. All this is enclosed with a single quote. Now this is where you can get really evil, okay? Imagine that, so $ID is nothing but a variable. In $ID, if I store something that says this code ends here, okay? I'm ending the code right here, this code right here. And then I say, I end the statement, I type echo, hi. And observe, I'm not closing the single quote of this hi. Anyone have any ideas why I'm not closing it? The first one to do it wins the prize. Fast. No, you don't win the prize, but still, first one to do it. Does anyone know why I'm not closing that single quoted hi? Go, fast, compete. We have 3 people typing, 4 people typing, because the code is closed by the code. Exactly. The SQL statement, perfect. Boom. Yazar got it. So this code right here is being closed right here, so I don't need to worry about it. So that the query should not throw an error. Okay, that is also acceptable. That's a very good answer. Because if it throws an error, usually a very nicely written web application will generate an error and it will report that error to the web administrator. As a hacker, I would not want the web administrator to know about any such thing that has happened. So I'm going to try to reduce the errors which are actually thrown. You see how I'm not trying to raise any awareness. So when this is copied and pasted right here instead of the $ID, doesn't that look cute? It's perfect. I hope. Just one second, let me try. Ooh. Oh, guys, I forgot about one thing. This whole thing is under MySQL query. Yeah, because it's trying to execute it, right? Yeah, I should have thought of that. It's trying to execute it right here. So what I'm going to do is end this here. Or you all know SQL or statements, remember? Or equal. So if this or if equal means everything will be true. Press submit. Damn it, nothing. Okay, this is my favorite part. 1 equal to 1. There we go. Watch, guys. 1 equal to 1. Is it ever going to be false? Is 1 equal to 1? Always. 1 is always going to be equal to 1. So when it is here, select first name, surname from user's data, where ID equal to something, it has got a condition on it. The where part is nothing but a condition. 2. Let's assume it's 2. Okay? And when I say, wait, or wherever 1 is equal to 1. So what is happening that when it's checking for the conditions, it will check, is the ID table matching 2 or is 1 equal to 1? This is always going to be true. This is always going to be true. Since this is always going to be true, it's going to spit out every single first name and so it's going to spit out everything, all the records, all the rows, first name and surname. Is that clear, guys? Did you all get that? No? So, okay. So if anyone wants me to repeat anything, or if anyone did not understand the SQL injection, you all can post it right there, down there. I'm going to really try to do something tricky right now. I hope this works. I don't want to end up looking like a fool. Okay, I think, yep. So since I cannot, so what I'm trying to do by closing the bracket here is, I'm trying to get out of this bracket. Are you all getting me? I'm trying to end this bracket, so I come out of this function. So if I'm not in this function anymore, guess where I am? I'm inside PHP. But what I'm thinking right now is what they must have written the code like. Must be something like this, where they are saving this like this. Alright? This is what must be happening right now. So no matter how many times I try to exit from this area, thinking that there might be a bracket, I can never actually get out because this is a string inside this. Although it is a SQL injection, I cannot actually try to escape from the MySQL query part. Are you getting me? So that is a SQL injection. Oh my god, you people are very dull. Is everyone fine? So this is my first online session. Usually I conduct sessions right there. Usually I'm in person in a class where I usually have a pen. I love having a pen in my hand and a whiteboard where I keep drawing stuff. I held line-up session like for one entire semester. I held classes and I'm very active and I really believe in crowd participation. So get involved, ask doubts, ask some stupid stuff. Nothing ever is stupid because things you might feel stupid might actually crack a website for all you know. You never know. Okay, so that was SQL injection right there. We are way past our dead time. It's 8:05 for you people. So I think I'm going to stop right here. I want to have the last 2 to 5 minutes for any kind of Q&A. If anyone has any doubts, if anyone has any questions based on these technologies, how these attacks can be misused, how can we extend these attacks, or even better, use these attacks in combination and try to achieve something greater, please tell me right now. No? No one has anything to say? Jody? Oh, thank you so much. Lokesh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, reflected and stored XSS. It happens very often. I've seen that people get very confused between reflected and stored cross-site scripting. And I feel the best and the easiest way to explain that to someone is with the help of a real live example of the difference between the two. And that is why all my workshops, all my sessions are mainly oriented around demos. Okay, I believe in teaching while I'm showing, because talking theory and people trying to go home and try it by themselves, it usually never works. I've always been on the other side, and it's very frustrating. I feel that I probably got nothing out of that session because it's not working for me. So that is why I really encourage showing. And the best part is if you can do it with me, that is when I can say like, oh my God, man, that is when I feel I've taken the maximum out of the session. Go ahead, you can drop feedback down there, you can drop questions, comments. I'm ready to wait for a few minutes after this session, anytime guys. I highly recommend you're looking into this slide. So Google Azure is something that is a vulnerable web application just like DVWA, and just like damn vulnerable web application. It's an online hosted website, so you don't have to worry about XAMPP, you don't have to worry about anything. You can go ahead and play right there, and you can try to attack right there. We have a whole bunch of challenges in ISSA. If you ever go into OrgSync, you will see a challenges tab up there. You can go ahead and play there. We have a whole new challenges section coming up for you guys. We will send an email out to everyone. I have a personal, on my personal website, I have my own challenge hosted, which I had developed for ISSA. This is the username and password to that if you want to ever play there. Oh my God, I can't actually copy it. There we go. So you'll get anytime you can take a note of that, and there are different levels in my kind of hacking challenge where it starts from very simple basic stuff and will help you slowly progress up. There are several hints along the way. If you look very closely, it's really challenging. It's a story. Also, one thing I should know: if you are ever using the challenge that I have set up right there, here's a small hint to get started. The credentials are right. There are no wrong credentials. These are the correct credentials, and the website is pointing to the right page. That's the hint I'm giving you, people. It's pointing to the right page. Do not worry. There is no missing page. There is nothing. Everything on there is just to confuse you. So be very careful about everything you're doing. And lastly, you can challenge us. We enjoy challenges at ISSA. We have weekly meetings where all board members come together. We talk about different technologies, what we learned for that week. We all discuss various stuff. You are free to join in. You all can talk about what you all learned for that week in technologies, in kind of security. You all can learn from us. You all can challenge us to different kind of hacking competitions. We have some CTF or capture the flag based competitions on ISSA challenges. You all can probably look into that. It's a whole bunch of fun. Any questions, comments, anything? You all can just drop it there. I'm right here to answer them. Comments, feedback, questions, doubts. Ooh, there we go. So that is our, Shekhar has just posted the email right there. You can send whatever you all want, any kind of feedback information or anything you want. You can send it to issa_northeastern@gmail.com. Krati is asking when would be the next possible session. Okay, from me, I do not know because it's really inconvenient doing it from a remote location. It's really difficult because there is a lot of technologies and a lot of nonsense I can say I have to deal with. but I hope I will be able to do it again. I'm coming back to Northeastern in 2 months, and I'll be holding a whole bunch of sessions and challenges and competitions for everyone to hack and play. Thank you, Yomaris. I really appreciate it. Have you designed any CTS? Capture the flag. So basically, I've not designed any capture the flag based games. I've designed level up games. We have level based games where you start off with level 1 and then you try to finish that level and you look for a kind of key to go to the next level. Many people call that capture the flag because that is how you get access to the next level. So, but I have another CTF thing in mind where I feel CTF is like this team against team competition kind of thing. So if you're thinking about how you can level up progressively and hack and attack and look for vulnerabilities, then I have designed that. Yes, that is what the website I just gave up there is for. I've hosted it on my website, but I've not designed any kind of team against versus team hacking competitions yet. But I will look into that for sure. No problem, man. You're most welcome. So thank you guys for coming. I hope you'll join in next time we have any kind of session. You all can request a particular topic if you want to learn about it. Most welcome. Most welcome. Thanks, guys. See you all. No problem. Bye-bye.